Hey, it looks like we've got a few people hopping on. We are grateful for everybody who's joining us right now and appreciate your hanging out with Diakonos on a, well, it's rainy here. I hope you're having more better weather there as spring is springing and rain is an important thing. I know our farmers here are super excited to get a little more moisture because it's been a dry winter. Hi Jessica, good to see you. I'm glad you're there. I hope you had a good swim and you fit that in on your hot day. It is fun. I gotta say, one of the things I kind of enjoy about this is how, you know, there's people from all over the country, and every season everybody has a little different something that they're dealing with, and weather-wise as well as life-wise. So we are very glad to have everybody here. We'll get started in just a minute or two. As you can see, we have, hi Kim, good to see you. Hello. Hi Jessica, so sorry, it's sunny at 79. That sounds perfect. That's like, you know, but you do get it gets super hot at some point down the way too, but right now, oh, that's perfect. Ideal temp. Anyway, we're gonna be, shortly, I'm gonna demonstrate our new Route 66 bracelet, which is similar to the Dakota, but downsized to all 6 mil pieces. And hello, Chris, good to see you. Hello. And then we're gonna be showing you how to make the this knot. It's our absolute favorite knot. It is just a beautiful, good knot, sometimes called a slider knot or barrel knot. We call it the more better knot because it's more better than all the other knots. And you'll find you can use it for all kinds of fun things. And hopefully I'll be able to show you a couple different techniques because everybody's different. Is it easier to go over or under or use a straw? And it'll help us with that. So let's see. I have Eddie, if you would pop over and give your little intro, that'd be great. I'm going to say this is really interesting. Oh, hi, Vicky. Good to see you. Facebook has made changes like they always do. And they have a thing right now where everybody who's coming on, it'll say, bring them on camera. And I'm half curious to see what happens because one of the things I've been trying to find is new, better ways of, oh, sorry about a broken foot. Yikes. For you, Carrie, hi. Anyway, I've been looking for ways that we could do this kind of thing more interactively, and one of them is Zoom. So I am curious for if anybody here already is familiar with Zoom. I think many people have been doing Zoom one way or the other, but if you would type in the comments that you are, you know, you're Zoom able or whatever, familiar, that would be great. I am curious though that Facebook it looks like they've got something going on too. So we'll be looking into that. When I got our live started today, there was some messages about Commerce Manager and whatnot, so it would appear as though they're making some new things happen, which would be great. Oh, wonderful. Looks like there's a lot of Zoomy people out there. Super. Okay, Eddie, hop on over if you would and get us started.
I love Becky's title for the show. I'm so 60, and and I am so 60. I'm going to be 60 on Tuesday, and so I'm not looking forward to that. Of course, Becky's been 60 for a long time. Well, actually, just a few months. So
60 works, honey. It's a good age.
60's the new 60. Yeah, 60's the new 50. So we have some goodies for you today. If this is your first time shopping, and I see we do have some potentially first time signups, but we got people from Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Mississippi, Texas, South Dakota, and Massachusetts that might be on the line. So welcome from all over the United States, everybody. Thank you for joining in. Shipping is free, $5.95 on this show, and if you order over $50, you get it shipped for free. And you think, how do I order? Well, Becky's at some point is going to be showing you some fun. She's going to be showing you some tutorials first. Then she'll be showing you some kits, but she might flash a sign that has a lot number on it, and then you say, I like that lot number, and you just say sold lot number 1 or lot number 2. And at the end of the show, we compile those and send you an invoice, and you send it back to us, paid, and then we ship it right to you. And that can happen as quickly as as you want it to. So if this is your first time, we just need to know how to get that invoice to you. So you just need to send an email to Becky@diakonosdesigns.com, which we just moved.
We did. Sorry.
Becky@diakonosdesigns.com, or you can send her a secure Facebook message. Don't put your email in the comment feed. I mentioned in the newsletter that there'd be some discounts available. If you spend over $50, you get 15% off. That's just a couple kits. And if you spend over $150, you get 20% off. Keep in mind, you would need to spend $60 or about 2 kits worth to get to $51 after discount to still get the free shipping. So keep that in mind, and I'll help you remember that as well. But Becky's got a lot of things to show. So I am going to turn it back over to Becky.
All right, thank you. All right, well, I've got us started out here. And Route 66, we call it that because 6mm beads and 6mm chain, 2mm leather, and a button. But it starts out with attaching the chain to the button. And I do want to show you, when we were prototyping, which when we come up with new kits, we try all kinds of things before we come up with the final versions. And so my prototype, I was putting on a button, doing a knot, and then connecting the chain. But as we worked at this longer, so this, we decided that this was going to be better, and I really like it, where we're attaching the button directly to the chain with one of the chain links. So the way you do that is take your chain, and as usual, these kits come with 16 inches of chain. There's the recipe in case anybody needs it. So that you can make, so that means 8 inches of beaded material, and then plus your closure. So these should fit pretty much any wrist. And so I've determined that this link right here, this Rolo ring, is going to be my middle one, or close enough. And I'm going to find the opening using my round nose pliers. You can see the slice right there. And then I'm going to open it up using a bent nose. And you can use whatever you like, but the round nose kind of gets in there nicely, I think. And we're going to hook the button right on. And it is a small space, but we can do all things and work in small spaces. And if I can do it under the camera while reaching, I know you can do it in a more comfortable position. And so that closed up pretty well, but I'm going to come at it one more time like this. Actually, I don't even need to do this, but in case you didn't get yours closed real well when you do it, just give it a squeeze like so, and that is going to be on like nobody's business. So now we're going to use our leather, and in this design, we're using 2mm leather, which you could use 1.5. We did some prototypes with that, but I don't like how just loosey-goosey it is. I think it's prettier and feels more solid with the 2mm leather. And so you want to bring it through and make sure it's even on both sides. So I've got, it starts with 5 feet of leather, and we're gonna make sure that there are 2.5 feet on each side. And so I'm stringing through the first 2 Rolo links that aren't attached to the button. And then I'm gonna go through like so, the next vertical link. So I'm skipping one link, going on the next one, and then I'm gonna go through the button, the bead. And I have chosen, this combo isn't a kit, but I've chosen beads that are a little small and leathers that's a little big, so I could demonstrate that when it's tight, you see I'm twisting the bead, twisting the leather, and I've cut it to a sharp point. And that's not even that sharp of a point, so I'll probably cut it again. So I went through on the right-hand side, the second, or the third chain link, skipping one. Now I'm going through on the left side. I'm going to pull that through, holding these in place, pull the leather, and it pulls a little snugly. And again, in most of the kits, the leather that I chose isn't quite as snug as this, but I liked this combination, and so I decided it is worth it. And like I say, I wanted to be sure and have an example to show you that would have holes that were a little small, so I could show how you do that. So on the back side, so now I flipped it over. This is the front side that I just put through. I'm gonna flip it over, and on the back side, we're gonna go through the exact same Rolo ring we just went through. And we're not gonna go through the button again because it was tight in the first place. So the leather is gonna be kind of supporting the button, or the bead. I keep saying button, goodness gracious, bead. And then we're gonna go through the same link again on the other side of the bracelet. And by holding these, by kind of pulling these into position and pulling it, you're going to be less likely to kind of scratch the leather, which you don't want to do. If you feel it scratching, adjust so that you don't scratch. So back here is the front side. And one of the things I like to do right at the beginning is make sure that my tension and tightness right through here is good. I don't want to pull this so tight that it comes around in front and doesn't go around the Rolo rings. And I also don't want it too loosey-goosey. And right here, you know, I like this to all kind of come together and be just nicely connected, where there's not a lot of space between these rings and the bead. So I'm going to do another one, and I'm not going to do all of these because that would take a really long time. And it is really just this simple. So you can see this piece of leather I cut to a sharper point, and this, if I just tried it like so, you know, it is snuggish, but because of that long point, it goes all the way through. It's only a 6mm bead, and I can pretty easily pull it through, hop on. And if you like this design, but feel like you want to try it with 1.5mm leather, you know, that's all cool. That's legal in beadland.
Chris from Massachusetts asked, does it matter which way the button faces?
Oh, good question. You know what? Good question. I don't tend to pay a whole lot of attention to that because I feel like I could change it later. But like right here, you know, if I had started my beading on this side, this is the direction that the button's going to be. If I instead had started the beading on the other side, the button would have been upside down. You know, technically, I mean, at least the view that we have of it right here, but it's, you know, kind of 6 dozen, half of one, six of one, half dozen of another, yes. Or a dozen, whatever. So you can see where whichever way you start, and you can start from either direction, you know, will determine which way that button is going to sit. So you can kind of, you know, attach it, how, you know, just get it attached and then decide which way you're going to start. So again, going through, and notice like here, I had kind of over pulled this a little bit too tight. So I'm going to pull it back out, and I'm going to push, like right here, you see there's plenty of room in that Rolo ring, in that Rolo link. Again, it's 6mm chain, 2 2mm leathers. So there is plenty of room in there, but sometimes you have to push the leather that's already in there back a little bit just to make room for the next piece of leather. So, and you can see each step here, I want to give it a little bit of snugging and pulling, just a little bit of love so that it comes right to the middle, like so. And I'm going to do one more, and then we will move on. This stone is, oh, I wish somebody was here to help me pronounce, cacoxenite. And it is beautiful. We'll have that later with our 6mm. Okay, so here, with our 6mm stones, it's just a really pretty fun, if you look at the whole strand, it's got some just rosiness, light purpleyishness. So anyway, this one you can see is a little too snug, and I do want to demonstrate this. Cut it super, super, super angled. And I love to use my little wire cutter for this. And we're going to go in with a twist, and if it doesn't feel like it's coming through, because leather thickness changes. So the one side of my leather is a little thinner, this side is a little thicker. So I'm going to use my pliers and pull it through. So you can get it through. It's a 2mm hole. 2mm leather, as y'all probably know, can vary from 1.7mm all the way up to 2.3mm. So just because it says that it is 2mm doesn't mean it's 2mm exactly. The variation is up to 0.3mm. So flipped it over, and on the back side, we're gonna go through the same rings. So there we go, easy peasy. And then just pull them all into place, and it will be a delightful bracelet. You can see these don't take too much time, maybe hour and a half. And that is the Route 66. I'm going to get started with, we just have 5 colorways of this available today, and they're on the web, but we'll also do them on the show with the discount. And thank you, Vicki, for that nice compliment. We appreciate it. So this is the very first one. This is, it's like, Becky, do it right. There,
So
this is lot 1.
Okay, so you did about 4 courses there. Typically
Yes.
about 24 courses is a statistically average wrist, and we give you, I think, 32 beads, so you can get quite a large wrist.
Wow, you have so many numbers. Yes, I think the 6 mil strands, it is interesting. You can see this. There's a slight variation with the 6 mil beads. Some are more like 5/9, some are more like 6/1. So the number on an 8 millimeter or on an 8-inch strand varies just ever so slightly. So you get between 32 and 35 beads per 8-inch strand.
Okay. So you get more than what we said.
I think you do.
That's like a bonus.
I think, well, if they're just a slight bit smaller, but they all work, and the bead holes are all the same, so that's what matters, right?
Okay.
So this is this design uses antique silver and natural dark green leather, and one of my absolute new favorites, a jasper, which is called Rocky Butte. And again, we'll have these beads in just a little bit as well. And Rocky Butte is just, it's like a Red Creek, as a comparison. Here's a matte Red Creek, but it's just not as many reds and oranges, and maybe a little more greens and goldens, which I think is lovely. So, and this bracelet wears just beautifully. It's got, a nice wiggle, not too stiff, and we're just gonna, easy peasy really to get the button buttoned, and there we go. What could be more fun than that, right? So,
and most of these are 30, but the Rocky Butte was more expensive, so that's why it's 36.
He is. Okay, yeah, that's right. All the rest are 36, but yeah, this Rocky Butte is a little more expensive stone. Oh, Chris, you are asking a great question. Am I going to show how to finish it? Wow, thanks for that reminder. You wouldn't think I was the one on this making, doing what I'm doing. Oh, Lord. Here's what I'm going to do. Usually I have one of these done all the way up to the end so that then I can show you exactly how to finish it. But I neglected to remember to do that. So I am doing it really quick here in the background, and you'll see how janky it is, but I think it'll get the job done. So you figure out how long you want the bracelet by, I'm all about just try it, right? Tie it on, well, don't tie it, but have it on your wrist and see what it's doing. And, all right, it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be, but we're going to show you anyway. So, let's just pretend this is, here's where I started my beading, right? There we go. Go all the way, if we were going to go all the way down, since I didn't have a partially finished one. We go to the last strands, and that you're where you need to be size-wise. I keep the leather on there, or I keep the chain attached until I know that I've got the right size. But if you've already got your button on, you've tested this around your wrist, when the button comes, and I'm holding on to the leather, kind of pulling this tight, when it comes around to basically where it just about touches the button, or when the button just about touches the beads, pretend I don't have the knot already tied there, that's your sign. So if you go one more, you'll have a little looser fit, and you can see where once you get the button in there, it's going to loosen up just a little bit and fit nicely, kind of in about loose cuff, tightness. So we're going to pretend this was my last knot or my last stitch with the chain, and we're going to do 2 knots, and these are super simple overhand knots. Thank you so much. Was it Chris who asked me about this? How did I forget to do the finish? Honestly, you know what? Bless your heart, because you know what? Okay, I just have to say, I didn't realize that. I mean, I kind of did, but not really. When I say bless your heart, I just really mean it. I know that there's a bless your heart that isn't quite so authentically sincere, as in thank you, bless you. It is more meant to indicate that you've done something maybe kind of dumb. So that is not me. I am authentically blessing your heart for reminding me that I should do this, because I need to. So you see, I have kind of worked it to be as close to the end of the chain as I possibly can. And so I'm gonna just, you know, and I like my knot, the leather in my knot to stay even, or, you know, kind of like to stay parallel, I guess is the right word to use there. So I'm just push this even a little closer. I'm kind of working it through and then pulling these ends so that I get the knot as close to the end of the bracelet as I possibly can. And once it's there, I would put it on again and test again. Sorry, I don't have the better way to do that. Make sure that it looks like the size is going to be right when I tie this next knot. And when it looks really good, just pull really, really snug. And when you pull each strand, pull them individually, and you'll feel that knot tighten up and straighten out. And you want to make sure he's, you know, basically in the, you know, center, you know, kind of centered at the base of your chain. And then we're going to do one more overhand knot like that. And you make it so that the button is going to go in and out easily. And the instructions that we give have photographs, so you can see, you know, have a visual as to about how much space you need. But you can pretty easily determine that as long as you can get in there and out of there without having to stretch the leather, that's good. And you don't want it a whole lot bigger than the button, but you don't want it a whole lot smaller. And then once you know that that's the right size, give each of those strands individually a really good tug, hanging on to the knot, holding your knot, and pulling the strands. So that is that. Thank you again for asking. So lot 1 is the Rocky Butte, and we're going to move on to lot 2, yes?
Sure.
Lot 2, oh, forgive my hand, Becky, like you don't do this all the time. All right, lot 2.
One thought I had is maybe just flash them all on the screen so people can see what their choices are, because sometimes that'll help them decide whether they want one or the other. Just do a quick flash of them, and then of the 4 remaining.
Oh, you're so cute, Ed.
Unless you get it all set up.
Well, no, I have them all nicely organized, but all unorganized.
So they can kind of be anticipating which one they're going to, you know.
All right, these are the others that are going to be, so this far left is the one we just did, and these 3 are going to be coming up. But then truly, you know, I mean, we've come up with some, you know, starter colorways. This is what we do. But the reality is you're going to want to come up with your own colorways. So when we get to the beads, then you can pick whichever of these beads you'd like to use. We're using 6mm chain. As you can see, you need 16 inches of 6mm chain. You need 5 feet of 2mm leather. And we tend to pick a thinner leather. All the kits are a little thinner than the demonstration I gave you. But I just wanted to do that so you could see if you order off the web, you'll get what you'll get. And if you know you want to do them thinner, or if you know you want a thinner 2mm, make a note. Then we'll pull the thinnest that we've got around. And then a tier cast button. So all of these things are individually available on our website. And you can go to, I put links on our Facebook page in the post right before this video that we're watching. And you can get to the website that way. And then once you're there, maneuver around and order what you'd like. So the one thing that isn't on the web is the beads. So the beads are for the show only. And then the chain and the leather and the buttons you can order on the website. And reality would be if you order a yard of chain, you can easily make 2 bracelets. So then order at least 2 strands of 6mm, and then you'll want 3 yards of leather for each of them because you need 5 feet. You sell it by the yard. And then a couple of buttons. And then you can kind of put together your own kits. Like as an example, here's a few. That was a freestyle one. There's another one. There's a bunch that we've put together that are, you know, just kind of fun, different colorways. So, alrighty. So we are lot 2, which is the bracelet done up with Red Creek Jasper, which in copper buttons and copper chain. Red Creek is such a classic, works, I think, for all kind, you know, works well with lots of different colorways. Beautiful with, well, everything is beautiful with jeans, right? Anyway, all right, so we're gonna go on to lot 3, which is, this is a good one, lot 3. Or this is a good story, I guess. Have you guys heard of larvicide? So this is larvicide. I have to say, the reason I think it's funny is because it is, as I've spelled it here, this is how you spell it, larvicide. But on the tag, on the strand, it says larvicide, like larva. And I thought that was such a weird name. I had to look it up because I'm like, who in the world would name a bead larvicide? You know, to name it after larva, I don't know, that just feels just really weird and strange. So it turns out it's a typo on our bead strands, and that the stone truly is called larvicide, and it's beautiful, and it's much more beautiful when it's not larvicide. It's prettier when it's larvicide.
With an I?
With an I, yes.
Should I fix the website then?
Oh, yes. You should fix the website. Oh, did you spell it larva?
Well,
Oh, you're cute. All right. Well, so we're all getting on the same page. This is good. So this is just a fun, interesting new stone. We haven't ever had it before other than in this large hole 6 mil. And it is, you know, got a little touch, like some of these beads have a little touch of like labradorescence almost. You know how labradorite has that shilling and whatnot, but then just, you know, some black inclusions, gray. It's just a very pretty silver gray. And that is, it's just a nice, fun look. And this is one, you know, sort of, we try to do lots of colors, but then we try to do things with a little bit of, you know, black, white, and gray all over. So, alrighty, so there we go. Lot 3 is larvicide. Lot 4 is going from black and white to all the colors. So this strand is really kind of fun. It is faceted, and it's just called faceted mixed stone. So we've done it with brass and guarilla leather, and it has all the colors. And so, and they're faceted, which is just kind of fun. You can see how those catch the light. So it's a little bit, you know, fancier look with the leather that has a metallic finish and the beads that have a facet. So they pick up a little light and shine. And you can see there's just a whole lot of different colors in each strand. So, you know, you could put these together, and we have on some of these in almost a, what is that word that I always forget? Ombre. You know, where you would do light to dark or dark to light. We do that in a lot of our designs, and that's kind of fun. Oh, thanks for liking my goofiness. And, or whatever. Actually, you know, there you go. Liking us and sharing all of that. Thanks, we appreciate it, because all that matters, and it makes Facebook like us, and, you know, we all want to be loved by Facebook. Anyway, I probably shouldn't say that. I'll get in trouble. But anyway, pretty, and again, there's kind of the back, you know, the leather goes behind. You know, if you wanted to highlight blue beads or more of the pinks, whatever you want, you can put in the center so that when you're wearing it, you see more of the beads that are the color that you love the most. Anyway, fun, interesting strands. We have not had, well, we haven't ever had 6 mil before, so we're excited because this is just a slightly smaller profile than the 8 mil, and it gives a lot of flexibility, just a lot of nice opportunities to incorporate it doing different things. As an example, like with leftovers, you can make little earrings, you know, our happy style of just little leather dangle earrings with a few beads, you know, a few spacers and a few little size 6s. Just a nice size. All right, one more of these and then we're going to do the next demo, which will be on our Knotty little triple wrap. I'm just undoing my knots. Sorry, or undoing not my knots, but I'm undoing my buttons. So lot 5 is these last 3 have all been $30 for the kit, which of course includes all the beads, the button, the leather, the chain, and all the instructions that you need. And this, as you can see, it's a pretty darn simple bracelet. So in this color green, oh, I was going to bring our Pantone colors. This is, I think, close to the Pantone color green for right now. Oh, thank you, Eddie Allen. You are good. Oh, this is autumn. This is autumn, honey. We have a spring one. Just because the color I'm thinking of is on the spring sheet. I'm sorry. Y'all know how the whole Pantone thing works. You know, Pantone out there in the world makes all these big decisions about what colors are good. And, well, okay, so our listing has many of their colors. It doesn't have all of them. So, in reality, this green, I'm pretty sure, is close to Pantone's green. But in any case, it's a beautiful green. Very grassy, very springy, very good. And with that, I will move on to our next little demonstration. How's about? So this was lot 5 with jade beads. Those were jade. Did I mention that? I don't think I did. I forgot.
Jade.
Jade, yes. Love those. We haven't had much jade either. We've had it, but we just haven't done much with it. So that was fun to do jade. All right, so we're gonna now do this bracelet, which goes around 3 times. There's enough leather to almost go around 4 times, but we really don't recommend it the first time you do it because you're gonna learn like how you wanna make those knots. Making of the knots is the thing. And you can go around twice, you can go around 3 times, you can go around 4 times, you can go around as many times as you want for what that's worth. But with the 8 feet of leather that we include, and yes, we do include 8 feet of leather with these, if you go around 2 or 3 times, you're gonna have plenty of leather to finish the bracelet. If you go around more than that, you won't be able to make a bracelet that wraps 3 times. So I have, like always, figured out where half of my leather is. And we've done this style of bracelet for a while, but not with these size beads. And this is just changing it up a little bit. Each kit actually comes with 2 bracelets, or materials to make 2 bracelets. But 8 feet is a good starting length. If you decide that you enjoy this and you want to make triple wraps with multiple, you know, more than this size knot, you can do that. You just probably need a little more leather and you can order that and go to town. So to start out, we're going to just do an overhand knot. So I've got the button on the midpoint of the leather and I am going to make an overhand knot, and I'm snooching it and scooching it so that it is just about right there. You know, I like it to show just outside the edge of the button, and then the closure knot will tuck underneath there, and it's all good. So then we're going to put on, so you don't have to be so even, Steven, but we've given you enough beads in the kit so that you put 1 of the spacer beads, we call them cornerless cubes, and then a 6mm bead, and this is 1.5mm leather, so it's not tight at all like the last one was, and then 1 more spacer bead. So it's set up so that there's enough spacer beads so you can do focal spacer on every knot, but you don't have to do that. When I make these, I tend to sometimes I leave a section blank, or I just put 1 bead, or I put 3 spacer beads or whatever. So, you know, you can do whatever you like. So we generally recommend, I'm trying to get that out of the way so it's easier to see. So we generally recommend putting your the pretty stuff up above and starting using this cord as your working cord, the one that's on the bottom. And again, we'll show a couple different methods so you can choose what ends up working best for you. But if you take this strand up and over and around, and we're thinking of the carrier strand is, he's just going to sit there and basically do nothing. But our working strand is going to do all the stuff. So this comes down and around, and then up and over, both. And I'm kind of trying to keep this in what would amount to kind of a tunnel. And right now I could come up with this end of my working cord and go right through, or I can make it a little thicker knot and go up and around again. And I'm just hanging on to it, and it's a little putsy, but it is not too putsy for anybody who's watching this. So I'm going to do 3 wraps, and when I make these bracelets, I don't do them all the same. I do some 3s, I do some 2s, and now I'm just going to go through that tunnel that I made, that I'm hanging on to. And I've done this knot this way forever. And so for me, some of our other methods don't work that well, but that's why I'm going to have Ed show one of them. So we're just snugging that knot up, kind of rolling it and tightening it, and look how beautiful that knot is. You know, I think there's something, I love leather, and so if you can, a leather knot is basically, it's like a bead made of leather. So there he is. So now I'm looking at just the flow of this. I'm going to put my next beads on this cord, the bottom one there, and I'll go ahead and do it the standard way because this is going to become our sample, so I want it to look all standard. So spacer, one of those size 6s, and this guy is picture jasper. I'm going to put that side up, and so you see there's a certain amount of space here. It kind of starts to flow and just be kind of natural. How much space you need. I like about 1.5 inches is what I'm going to say that is. Because these strands have 32 to 35 beads, you can put then between 16 and 17 beads on each of your triple wraps, and that spacing, and this basically ends up about 1.5 inches between each, ends up to be kind of the natural spacing. But I also don't worry about that. I change it up because it's going to wrap around your wrist 3 times. Nobody's going to pay any attention to how big that, how much space there is, so I don't get too worked up about whether it's exactly the same. Some other people do, and they'll be demonstrating their way of doing the knot in just a minute. Right? So now I'm going over.
As possible, if you can.
What's that?
You do want it as dense as possible. You don't want to be. You don't want to leave beads on the table. You want to have to be.
Oh yes, you want everything to be as dense as it can be, honey.
Well, you want as much pretty as possible.
All right. So this time I went over just twice. Yes, you want as much pretty as possible. You're absolutely right. So this knot's going to be just a smidge smaller, and pulling it and shaping it. And sometimes, like as an example, I'm going to loosen this. This can sit over there, and that's wrong, and you can kind of see that's wrong before you tighten it. So, and it was just because I forced that tunnel to move and not function the way that it should. And so you see the difference between these 2 knots. One of them has 2 wraps and one has 3, and they're both perfectly good knots. So I'm going to pull both the cords, and especially the one that the knot is on. And so like you can see it slides, and so you can use it as a slider knot with leather cording, which is kind of handy. I tend to like, when I make these, to pull, each time I make a new knot, and I've got my segment that has the beads on it, I like to pull it so that the overall flow over the course of the bracelet will be similar. So what I'm saying there is I don't want this to be loosey-goosey. Like, well, it wouldn't be that loosey-goosey, but I don't want a big, a loop like that necessarily. So if you pull your leathers each time before you load up to do your next one, then you are going to have a nicely spaced bracelet. So Eddie, would you be so kind to swap places? And I've got a straw right here for you. to demonstrate your straw method. So we have taught this class in lots of settings with big groups of people, and over the times of doing that, Ed discovered, and sometimes those have been in establishments that had bar straws, right?
Yeah.
Because we do things called beads and brews back before COVID, and where we would go to we had 3 different local restaurants that we would go do projects at. People would sign up and come work with us and learn how to do a new project and have fun, you know, back in the olden days. And in that setting, we discovered that this method worked pretty nice to use a straw. So Ed's going to show you how he does that.
Yeah, I couldn't get the tunnel to work to save my life, and I mean, I really tried, and it drove me batty. And so, you know, again, as Becky, so we've now got our beading on for our next packet, and we determined that 1.5 inches, let's say 1.5 inches would be right about in there. So I'm going to position my straw over the bead carrying strand, and then I have the wrap strand on the bottom. That's just how I like to do it. And as Becky, so the wrapping is always identical. You're just using the straw. And so you make that initial wrap. And I always think, and the way I always have people remember this is, let's say you're a girl and go back to your middle school girl days. So you have that first wrap is as far away from your fingers as possible. It's far away from you. You're saying, get away, boys, you know. But then with each wrap, you start getting closer. And then it's like you're saying, well, you know, I kind of changed my mind. You know, boy, you're so fine. Come back, and come back. And so you keep coming back with the wraps. And I always like to do at least 3. It's like it ain't worth doing if it ain't worth doing 3. But the biggest thing is you can wrap nice and tight, and you can wrap tight against that straw. And most bar straws are always 2 millimeters. So whether you're using 1.5, oops, I should probably get this more on the camera. So whether you're using 1.5 or 2 millimeter leather, I gotta. Then it'll fit through the straw, and then you just tuck through the straw, and you see how it's coming out the other end, and then you just pull it all the way through, and then you actually just pull it straw right through, and look what you've done with absolutely no skills at all. You've just made an amazing barrel knot, slide knot, better knot. You snug it up like Becky's been snugging. And should we do one more of those in case?
Sure. And you've done so yours is like a 4 wrap, right? So I did a 3 and a 2, and now you did a 4?
Well, it's like 3. It's like it shows 3 thingies.
Okay.
You know, and so, yeah, you probably need to go around 4 times to do that.
Right.
But I just like, you know, so it's like, you know, there's 3, because you're really seeing those 3, but there is that underlying 4th one there, I guess, is a way to look at it. So I've done my beading. And where'd my straw go? Oh, I never took it off the end because you got these long tails. And again, those long tails get a little easier to work with. You wouldn't want to do this on the bus ride home. You might be elbowing the person in the chair next to you, but so again, you figure out where you want your knot. Oops, I want the carrier on top, the bead carrier on top, and the wrap strand on the bottom. That's just how I do it. And again, that's where I want my knot. And I'm just going to take that bottom strand and wrap. Get away from me, boy! Get away from me, you young man with your pimples. Oh, wait a minute. You're so fine. Start coming back to me. Start coming back to me. Start coming back to me.
Oh, goodness gracious.
And
you're so goofy.
And you just keep coming back, and then it's like dunking time. There we go. Dunk it through. And I tell you, we have turned people that were frustrated years trying to make this knot and you know, almost like tear up with how, oh my God, it's so easy to do, and thank you so much for this idea. Oh, I should probably kept everything in front of the camera, but it's just that easy. And like I said, for me, it was I couldn't stop doing this knot enough, and I put this knot on everything now. And do we include a free straw with each thing? Yes, we do. So each kit has a straw, and if you ever lose it, you know where to find one. I'm going to turn it back over to Becky. And
yeah, that just reminded me, I gave the ladies out front all the stuff to make kits up, and I don't think I put the straws out, so we need to be sure that we check those. These are the ones I have back here for today are all going to have straws, but we need to be sure a standard kit has them too. So alrighty, well, so there you go, that's that. And before I forget, I'm going to just show the ending on this is exactly like the other, where you're just going to do an overhand knot, a simple overhand knot here, and the simple overhand knot here, and then snip it off. However, you'll probably have some left over, oh, Becky, you'll probably have some left over of these beads. So I usually put a couple of those on there as well. So this sample doesn't have it, but when you make yours, you know, play around and use your beads however you like to use them. And you are surely welcome to include a few extra beads of these, or, you know, if you have other large hole beads that can go on there and be a fun little dangle, that's always good too. So, alrighty. So that is the demonstration portion, and we are now going to switch trays and go over to lot 6, which is, as I say, each of these is going to have two little bracelets. So so the difference, you just get two different colors of leather. So you'll have 2 buttons, in this case brass, 8 inches of the cornerless cube beads, and 2 8-inch pieces of leather. And they'll be, in this case, I think this is natural light brown and natural blue, and then a strand of picture jasper beads. So this lot 6 is $32. All of these are $32. So what is that? $16. So you get a whole bracelet for $16, a triple wrap bracelet.
And at 15% off, now you're down to $13.60.
Who's, oh my goodness, you know, it's so funny. I only get to catch certain comments. Edward, you know, when you're commenting on my Facebook feed under my name, and you're going to say, if your romantic life was an olive oil, it would have been extra virgin. Could you just be sure and say, this is Ed here? I mean, not that mine wasn't, but like sometimes your comments just make me go, what? Anyway, so as I said, these go around 3 times, but that means it's about, you know, 3 times on an average wrist is 21 inches. So these make a nice necklace as well. And they really do look kind of cute. If you're layering up, it's a sweet little necklace in addition to being a triple wrap bracelet. So how much fun is that? All right, so lot 6 was 2 of these done up with picture jasper. And we're going to move on before Ed has time to say anything. Lot 7, this uses apple jasper, and love, love, love apple jasper with a nice copper accents. And so we've partnered this with natural gray, which gives, it's just funny, like just a whole different look. Even though these are both very neutral colors in terms of the leather, I think this is natural dark brown and natural gray. The gray has a bluish tint, so it just has a whole different look with those beads. So anyway, natural jasper or apple jasper beads. This lot 7 done up with copper. And how much fun is that? And honestly, these are fun. I mean, you could get several kits and interact or intersperse or interchange them and wear them together or whatever. It's also a fun little way to introduce somebody to beading that maybe isn't already a beader. And each of you come away with bracelets that are, you know, the same but different, which is kind of fun, yes? All right, lot 8 is 2 more cute bracelets. And I only have 1 more lot of these. So this we have natural light brown. I think that other one that I said was natural light brown was actually natural red brown when I see it in comparison. So this is natural light brown and natural gray done with silver as the accent. Again, meant to be kind of easy to wear, neutral, go with everything. The stone here is white African opal, which is just a really sweet, beautiful stone. We've never done anything with white African opal, but now we have. And just look how fun these, I just think these are so sweet. Easy, fun bracelets to wear. And yeah, there you go. So lot 10 is 2 of those. Something just flitted in my brain and then flitted out about Route 66. Oh, I know. Goody is carrying our Route 66 bracelets in a whole different colorways. None of these are the same as the colorways they're carrying right now. So if you like that style, there are other options there as well. That's what I was going to say. So lot 9 is Red Creek Jasper, because I can't do any design of a new kit without including Red Creek Jasper, because it's just the best, right? So this lot 9 has brass accents and Red Creek Jasper, and then natural antique brown and natural dark green. And again, those look great together, but a very different look if you wanted to wear them separately. Just a really fun little bracelet to wear. And if you wear triple wraps, you know size matters. And so, you know, if you haven't worn a triple wrap lately, you know, make it up and don't cut off your leather till you've worn it a little bit. Because sometimes if you have, I might be able to demonstrate with this one. If you have a triple wrap that is especially long, I'm going to put this, you know, a little too long for you. Okay, this is going to be a good example because this will be too long for me. Oh, do you know what? We do this at the end too, right? Not, so that you do have some adjustability. And if you're making these to sell, that's helpful because not everybody has the same size wrist. So that lets you make something that gives your customer the ability to change the size or make sure that it fits for them or somebody they might be giving a gift to. So I just wanted to show you. So here, this looks okay, right? It's fine, but it's actually a little long. And I can tell that by when I pull it like this, there's this much extra. And that's an awful lot of extra. So then what can happen is that the heavier part, which is where the button is, will get loosey-goosey and hang down. And so you may want to, if I were wearing this, I would have not done that last segment and made it so that it fits still comfortably. And it's not like, I mean, if this is just really super long. So if you make it the right length, you're not going to have this problem. And it's not as if it has to be snug, but you don't want it to be super long and get wonky. Because, you know, that's part of when you get to make all your own jewelry. It doesn't ever have to fit badly or be wonky. Because who wants wonky? All right, so now we are going to move on to beads, because beads are good.
I would do a quick pan too, and then of the 26 lots.
Okay, so we are going to be, I'm going to just go like this. La la. Sorry for all that. So these are the different beads that we're doing. So we're kind of starting, no, I didn't really do a rainbow either. Oh, actually I did, huh? So, because this is number 1. So we are doing basically rainbow, red, orange, yellow, greens. And then we're going to be doing blues, purples, grays, blacks, whites, beiges, and then the multicolors. So, So I'm going to bring this over So K1 is matte red jasper. So beautiful stone. Again, all of these are 6 millimeters. Most of these strands are $8. I'll try to remember to mention when they're not. Sometimes they're faceted or they're a little bit higher end stones. So they cost a little bit more. But these are matte red jaspers, and similar to the apple jasper that we had in one of our kits, but matte and red jasper rather than apple jasper. So yay. And it's a matte color. There's a little bit of cream inclusion. And it's just a beautiful, almost terracotta-y color. And I'm a huge fan of terracotta. So K1, K2 is Red Creek Jasper. Of course, what could be more better? Not much other than the Rocky Butte. Rocky Butte, sorry. Rocky Butte Jasper, which is a beautiful one, which isn't better, it's just different.
So everything here has a 2 millimeter hole.
Yes, everything here has a 2 millimeter hole.
And is it true to say 6 millimeter rounds with a 2 millimeter hole are hard to find?
They're not easy to find. I mean, I don't know what every other bead store carries, or, you know, but yes, I think they're kind of new. We've had some Red Creek, we've had some 6 mil large hole, but yeah, good point. Yes, they are hard to find. They have been. So, yay. Okay, so cool Red Creek Jasper. I think we all know how amazing it is. So I will move on. We'll do K3, which is, and I think that was a $8 strand. These are $8 as well. This is apple jasper, just a beautiful, you know, not translucent. It is an opaque stone, but there are some little interesting translucent, almost quartzy inclusions on that. And it's just a very distinctive, beautiful stone with more action in it than you realize when you start to pay attention and look at those little beads. So K3 is 6 mil apple jasper.
And these are again the 32 to 35 beads a strand approximately.
Yes, that's a good question, Eddie, or a good reminder. Yes, they are 32 to 35 beads per strand, because the strands are all 8 inches, and because the beads vary ever so slightly, there's a few more or a few less. So K4, these are $11 because of all those facets. Whenever there's an extra process done to a bead, whether it's faceting or matting or whatever, sometimes that changes the price. Not all the time, but sometimes. And faceting almost always does make it a little more expensive. So these are faceted tiger eye, $11, K4. Just a very pretty warm stone and nice neutral. K5 is tiger eye. And this is only $9 because it's not faceted.
Just shout out to Susan Diefman. She forgot to put she said sold K.
Okay, so Susan is wanting K, so that means she gets one of everything. Woo! Eddie, I think that's what she means. Yes. Well, that'll be a fun bracelet. So I bet she will come up with what number that is at some point here. Karen asked, how many K strands do you have? We have 27 colors, or 27 strands. So yeah, you could get one of all of them. We would do that, and probably even a discount, right, Eddie? Anyway, so K5, moving on, K6. This is cool. So this is matte tiger eye. So, and it is $10. So it has just a neat depth. And you know how matte stones are? Like once you wear them, they pick up a little bit of shine, depending on where you're wearing them, because they pick up a little bit of body oil, but they still have an innate mattiness. So they don't ever look quite as shiny as a shiny bead, but the body oil pickup just makes them have just a depth and a beauty that is lovely, in my humble opinion. So K6 is matte tiger eye. K7 is picture jasper. We had that in one of the Knotty little kits, and picture jasper is just a beautiful good stone. Yes, lots of fun inclusions, everything from cream to brown to golden, and kind of goes with all kinds of things. Matches nicely with other stones. you know, there's no law that says if you're making bracelets like this that they all have to use all the same strand. We do that in our kits because it's easy and makes good sense, but you could certainly mix stones up. That would be very fun. So this is the Rocky Butte that I talked about. It is a little more expensive, $12, but a gorgeous stone. I'm going to change my lights just a smidge because I want to be able to hold this up close to the camera. There, that's actually a little better, isn't it? Lighting wise. Just beautiful, subtle, lovely coloration. Again, a beautiful jasper, a little less oranges and reds than a Red Creek. So African turquoise, which is $9, and beautiful green color with browns and golds, even a little bit of blackishness, just a lot of variation in those strands as well. And I think, I know I've said it on this show before, K9 is African turquoise. African turquoise isn't turquoise, it is jasper, which in my opinion makes it even better, but it's jasper mined in Africa, and it looks like, it has a color that looks like turquoise, so that's why it gets the trade name, which is sometimes confusing, but because I like jasper for its symbolism, I'm happy that it's jasper and not turquoise. And it, you know, names matter, but the substance is what matters more. So K10 is that same matte African African turquoise, but it's matte. And like with the other mattes, you know, as you wear it, it'll pick up a little more depth and interest. And these are $9, I think. Yeah, regular African turquoise was $9 as well. And you see some of the, you know, the lighter inclusions. It's a beautiful little stone. 11, so we're going through the rainbow. We're getting into the jade. So that was one of our, Route 66 was done with jade. And this has just a smidge of translucence that is nice. Warmer, yellower green. The next green, I think, is aventurine, and that is kind of a more bluey grayish green. Actually, I might even bring it on the screen so you can see the difference. Because I think color matters. So this one, aventurine, is also green, but like I say, more of a bluey. I see anything here? Yeah, more of a bluey, not gray, really more of a, just more yellow on the left with the jade. And this is a slightly more translucent bead as well. So K12, and there's lots of little green inclusions. Almost looks like lake water that has like moss. What's in seaweed, right? Seaweed in there. You know, suspended, but very pretty in a beautiful way. It is seaweedy. All right, that's 12. 13 is bloodstone. So these are $9. And as you know, bloodstone is mostly opaque. It's a few that there's a little bit of translucence too, but it's interspersed with some of these reds, yellows. Bloodstone gets its name. It's a jasper also. It gets its name from, at least the lore is that it gets its name from reference to the Christ having been on the cross and blood having been spilled, and that the stone beneath the cross was called bloodstone and looked like this. So I like it for that symbolism. $9 for that bloodstone. All right, we're moving on to blues, purples, and some of the neutrals. So we have got Crazy Lace Agate. We don't get this a whole lot. And I am kind of liking it. It's a big, bright, beautiful blue. And all of these are 2-hole beads. Or I mean 2-hole. Yeah, there's 1 hole in each bead and it's 2 millimeters big. There's not 2 holes in these beads. There shouldn't be anyway. Anyway, Crazy Lace Agate has a little bit of inclusion. It's very opaque. This would be pretty. Like, look at those. This would be interesting done in an ombre fashion, where you just sorted all those beads out, picked the lighter ones, picked the darker ones, and made whatever you're making with that. And honestly, I've done that. I should have done that with this. I've done that with enough things that it is really kind of cool. It makes a difference, and people notice, like, oh, that's cool. And so even though it's all the same stone, they kind of look different. So because each of the colors is just a little bit different. So here we have, and that was $9. The blue Crazy Lace Agate. Now we're at $8 for the Sodalite. And Sodalite, I should look up why that name is what it is. It's an odd name, Sodalite, because it doesn't look like soda. But it is blue and lovely. And again, this one could be beautiful done in kind of an ombre fashion as well, or just random, of course. But some of them have, there's a lot of, white inclusion as well as black inclusion. And that beautiful blue, which is a gorgeous, goes well with denim, or anything else where you want to bring some blue to the table. Next is a few strands of lapis. Speaking of blue, so these are $13, and lapis is distinctively bright and has these nice gold as well as some white inclusions. I realize with the lighting, some of what looks, you can see the reflection of all the lights, so there's not as much white as it looks like. They're more blue than that, but there is always just that gorgeous gold inclusion that lapis has that's so yummy. So lot 16 is 6 mil lapis with 2 mil holes. Lot 17, yay, this is this new stone that I'm loving. Cacoxenite.
Call it Keiko, because that's the...
Keiko? That's better. That's easier. Cacoxenite.
Just call it Keiko.
Keiko beads.
Sunset to Mortarite, Sunny D.
There you go.
We'll just call this Keiko.
And it is just really a cool bead. It is a little translucent, which is really kind of pretty. And it almost it reminds me of like leaves because there's like these orangey brown inclusions. It's like when leaves get stuck in frozen ice. It just, I don't know, there's something really cool about these. So you get some golden inclusions as well as kind of these burgundy, orangey, brown inclusions, and they all come for free with the bead. So, but they are a little more expensive bead, $13 for Cacoxenite. And if you like the purple, this is amethyst, which is a more traditional. It's been around forever. I should look into Cacoxenite if that's like a new stone or what. It's new to me, but maybe it's been around. Anyway, amethyst, dogtooth amethyst has kind of a translucence and inclusions of white. And let's see, these are $8, and they have, there's a fair bit of variation, dark to light in each strand. That makes them fun and interesting. So lot 18, lot 19, we don't have a lot of these, but they're very pretty. Aquamarine, and a very pale aquamarine. Again, all of these are 6 mil beads, 2 mil holes, and they are, these are mostly opaque, and some are almost white. Most of them have a little bit of bluishness, a little bit of pale yellow, very traditional, typical aquamarine. Lot 19, lot 20 is labradorite, and it is, yes, our only labradorite. In our 8 mils, we have a light and a dark labradorite. So this is actually kind of a medium. And as labradorite does, it has all that flash, which is so good, where you get just a beautiful bit of blue and color and labradorescence that is delightful. So there we go. Lot 20 is labradorite. Lot 21 is the larkivite. Larkivite, not larkivite. And it is a beautiful gray, black, and yeah, almost quartzy, light quartzy gray color. So variation on gray there. If you are, I know a lot of people design with black and gray, and this is a lovely one with a little bit of variation. If you kind of like the colorway, but sometimes black might seem too dull or plain old gray seems too dull, this makes it a little more interesting. So there we go. 21. 22 is golden obsidian. This is a cool stone. We haven't used this in much either, and we need to. So it is also got that, it's not labradorescence, but it has got a little more, there's just a glow to it, I guess is the way to say it. Just a bit of a glow. And you can kind of see that I'm trying to sort of turn them so you can see them in the light. They are primarily dark, very black, but there's, you know, a fair number of inclusions that are just a beautiful, warm. See, I should probably set them down because then you can see them differently. This would kind of go interestingly brown or black, it seems to me. 23 is white howlite, and this is a shiny. We have a matte coming up. So 23 is $8, and a shiny white howlite, which there's the long shot, and with bits of gray inclusion. So beautiful white bead, and a very distinctive look. Again, that could be pretty done, worked in if you're black and white with the larkivite. 24, we're getting to the end. Thanks everybody for hanging on. 24 is matte white howlite. So same as any of our mattes, a little bit of wear and love. It will take on a sheen that is delightful. It almost looks like marble, doesn't it? And a little bit of gray inclusion in each of those beads. White howlite. Number 25 is white African opal. One of our naughty littles we did with this design, or with this bead. And these are $11. Most of them are opaque. Some of them are a smidge translucent. Hold it down like so you can see all that variation. Little bits of gray and black and brown inclusion and striation. That is lovely. Just a unique, and again, kind of nice neutral bead. 26 would be the matte white African opal, but in matte. So these are $11. There we've got that. And same as the regular white opal, except with a matte finish. So they kind of go nicely with my little slate table here. But they have a lot of beautiful variation, makes a gorgeous neutral bead. Last but not least, 27 is all these mixed stones. So these are $9 and they are faceted. So you get that bonus mix of all these colors plus facets for only $9. How fun is that? So you can just see all that variation. So many colors and so many stones. And if you know your stones, you can see, you know, they've included everything from, you know, citrine, aventurine, lapis, jasper, how about, and quartz. So just lots and lots of different beads are in there. If you had a couple strands, you probably could start to find pairs, or again, kind of do that ombreing or color blocking, whatever. Lots of fun ways to utilize a mixed stone strand. And at just $9, yay, not too expensive for somewhere between 32 and 36 beads. Oh, I love that little denim-y looking one. Alrighty, well, so there we've got what we've got. I am a little over time. I'm apologizing for that. I thank you for hanging on. We will pull all of this together, get invoices out this afternoon, probably start shipping things tomorrow, or today if things get paid quickly and we get them packed quickly, right?
Yep. Rita from Minnesota will need your email address, and if I've missed anyone else that's brand new to the show, and this is your first time shopping, we'll need your email address. Send it to Becky at diakonosdesigns.com, or let us know via secure Facebook message. Don't put your email in the feed. And again, if your orders exceeded $50 after discount, you'll get free shipping. Otherwise, it's $5.95. And again, if you spent over $50, you get 15% off. If you spent over $150, you get 20% off. And if you're well behaved, you'll get a firm handshake as well, and a free straw. No.
There you go.
So looking ahead, April 7th, I'll be doing some more wheeling and dealing with components. I think we've exhausted our supply of chain. I'll be wheeling and dealing with components, 50 to 70% off. So you don't want to miss that show. That's at 6 o'clock on Thursday, April 7th. And then Becky will be back here in 4 weeks with something new that she hasn't figured out yet, but she will figure it out by then. So
perfect.
Thank you all for shopping and listening, and we love you all. And we're also going to, much of this, other than the strands, can be bought on the web. I'll turn on the quantities on the web carts for the Route 66 and the Knotty little triple wrap bracelet pairs. So look forward to that on the web as well. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. God bless you. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.